I was trapped in the world's quietest room for 12 days. Now I wish I was deaf. As I slowly regained consciousness, I felt a wave of dullness wash over my fractured mind. I couldn't move, much less remember what had happened before I passed out. My eyes burned as I opened them. I'd spent too much time in darkness to quickly adapt to the incessant flow of light. Hello. I tried to call out, but what emerged from my lips was merely a whisper. Once I could finally see, I took note of the room I'd awoken in. The walls, floor, and ceiling were all covered in weird sound insulation foam. I tried to get to my feet, but my legs refused to cooperate. They weren't atrophied, but had weakened significantly. That fact, alongside my groggy mind, made me realize I must have been drugged. "Is there anyone there?" I asked, a bit louder that time. No response. I tried to think back, clawing at my own memories, hoping for even the faintest scrap of information. I'd been heavily sedated, that much was clear, but why they'd placed me in a soundproof room, I didn't know. After what felt like an eternity, I finally managed to pull myself up onto my feet. Still feeling wobbly, I started to look for an exit. Alas, everything around me was perfectly sealed in that ridiculous foam. I collapsed back to the floor, still exhausted from sleep. That's when I truly realized just how quiet it was. The room wasn't just keeping sound in, but it kept everything out as well. No people talking, no traffic, not even the sound of water pipes built into the walls. It was deafening. I held my breath and pressed my ear against the wall. Nothing. All I could hear was my own heart beating, and the sound of my intestines churning away at whatever I'd eaten the day before. What seemed almost fascinating at first, quickly became my worst nightmare. Within the room, I was the only source of sound, and in the absence of any external stimulus, the silence got louder. "Please, let me out of here," I begged. Then I remember something. Nothing more than a faint hint of a distant memory. A glance into a time long since past. It was a meeting, a conversation I'd had with a man I couldn't recognize. "Why are you here?" the man asked. "I'm sorry, sir? This isn't a good place, Ryan. You're young, healthy. Shouldn't you be out in the real world? Maybe find a wife?" I had one. The brief memory was cut short by a paper floating through the air. While distracted, someone had delivered a note through the ceiling. "Hey, what the hell is this? Let me out," I called as I looked for whatever hole the note had come from. Without a response, I picked the paper up. It was oddly soft, producing almost no sound as my fingers brushed over it. On it was a single line of text. "Day 1, listen." "Listen to what, assholes?" I called out. I started running around the room, desperately trying to pry the foam off the walls in search of a way out. It was a futile task, and before long I collapsed to the floor in exhaustion. The drug still lingered in my body and I couldn't think clearly enough to form a coherent escape plan. There's a significant difference between being deaf and living in absolute silence. Same goes for being blind, versus being put into darkness. With functioning sensory organs, but no input, your mind takes it upon itself to come up with stimuli. Anything even remotely audible gets amplified 1,000 times over. As my mind drifted away, another memory greeted my shattered brain. "So that's it?" the man asked. "You lost her, and now you're here." He paused. "What happened to her?" "I killed her," I responded with a trembling voice. Once I awoke once more, I was immediately assaulted by the sounds produced by my own internal organs. "God damn it, shut up," I yelled at myself. There were no echoes within the room. Each word I spoke simply vanished into the insulation foam. I had to constantly keep talking to myself, just to keep my own bodily sounds at bay. That's the first time I noticed how desperately I needed to use the bathroom. "What if I need to take a piss then?" I asked out loud. With that, one of the foam panes popped up from the ground. Beneath lay little more than a small, foam-covered tunnel. Even my own stream of urine fell silently down into the darkness below. Once I finished relieving myself, another piece of paper fell from the ceiling. Alongside it, a stream of water appeared. It hit the ground almost without producing a sound, and was immediately absorbed by the foam. Nevertheless, I dove under it, parched from a day without liquid. After the stream stopped, I picked up the second piece of paper. "Day 2, do you hear them yet?" it read. "What the fuck are you talking about?" I yelled to no one in particular. Still, no response. Not that I expected anything else. I spent most of day 2 investigating the room. With the drugs cleared from my system, I could finally think. Though, despite being clear of mind, my memories remained hazy. There was no way out. No cracks in the horrendous facade. I was alone, in an isolated room. The churning sounds of my intestines the only thing to keep me company. I tried lying in different positions to muffle the sounds, but it felt as if they just grew louder. Confused and trapped, I had another memory flash by. It's an anhedonic chamber. The quietest place in the entire world. A concrete block resting on a spring plate, isolated with soundproof foam, to make sure not a single sound can get in, nor out. While one exists at Orfield Laboratories, this one is special, one by my own design, the man said. It must have been expensive. "What's the point?" I asked. "To make people hear the truth." On the third day, I didn't awake until I heard the faint sound of water hitting the foam. I shot to my feet and started drinking from the short-lasting stream. That time, they even dropped down some weird loaf of bread. It was heavy and packed with strange bits of vegetable and seeds, some kind of neutral loaf. A note also dropped down alongside the food and water. "Day 3, accept it read. It felt like pure ecstasy, to hear the bread tear apart as I bit into it. Finally, An audible sound that didn't come from my own guts. Unfortunately, it was short-lived. As soon as the bread had been eaten, I was once again plunged into absolute silence. I tried to keep myself preoccupied by talking, but my voice could only keep going for so long before my throat dried out. I realized then that they were purposefully keeping my water supply limited to prevent exactly that. I'd be too weak to fight back, too weak to keep talking, but healthy enough to remain conscious. There I sat, listening to my own organs work. I hated them, disgusting, pieces of flesh that produced squishy, sickly sounds that never ceased. Then I heard something new, a faint voice hidden beneath the sound of my beating heart. "Please, just make it stop. I can't take it anymore," the voice said. It belonged to that of a woman. Oddly familiar, yet so strange. "Hey, where are you?" I called out. "It hurts so much. I don't deserve this. Why is this happening to me?" There was no discernible location for the sound. It almost felt as if it was coming from both nowhere and everywhere, all at once. "Come on, I need to know where you are if I'm going to help you." "Ryan, it hurts so much. Please help me," she begged, before the voice vanished into thin air. "Linda, oh my God," I called out, praying her voice would return. It had been my wife, the voice I'd longed to hear for so long. I almost couldn't believe it. Through the immense silence, I'd heard the love of my life and she was suffering. I cried as memories of her flowed back, how she had died. "I'm sorry," I said out loud. "I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." But she wasn't real. She had to be a figment of my imagination, or a hallucination brought on by the quiet room I'd been living in. As I sobbed into the foam floor, my mind wandered involuntarily back to my most recent, partially intact memory. "How did she die?" the man asked. "Why are you asking me these questions? I already signed the fucking papers for Project Orcus. Because you might be able to talk to her again." The fourth day arrived, and another piece of paper dropped from the ceiling. "Day 4, don't ignore them. They're as real as you and me," it read. I tore the letter apart. Not out of anger, but to enjoy the barely audible sound it produced as I ripped it to pieces. I made sure they were only thin strips, keeping it going for as long as possible. I savored every moment of it, before I was forced back into silence. No sooner had the silence returned before I started hearing whispers all around me. At first, they were just incomprehensible sounds, voices that didn't make any sense. But, among it all, I heard Linda call out for me. "Ryan, stay away, it's not safe here," she begged. But she wasn't the only one. There were dozens of muffled whispers all around me. I tried to filter them out, focusing only on my wife's beautiful, haunting voice, but as time passed, they kept getting louder. Day 5 arrived. I was on the brink of total insanity. The whispers had kept me awake for hours, only to vanish when the next paper quietly hit the ground. "The voices will set you free." It was a temporary relief. After I'd torn the paper to shreds, the voices immediately returned. Each hour gone made them louder, and I could do nothing to block them out. Day 6 came and went in the blink of an eye. The voices had fused together. The mess of sound that came from all around me just never ceased for a single second. Even as I shouted with my hoarse voice, they just kept coming. The only real thing I remember from the day is the note that fell from the ceiling. "Keep quiet and let them guide you."